Made with Spoken. Celestial Convergence Dragons of Vacari No. 3 by T.A. McEvoy. Digital narration, performed by multiple digital voices.
In the heart of molten shadows, whispers burn hotter than fire, and truth is never the only thing being forged.
In the twilight-drenched tower at the edge of Fel Thalor, Lyra stood before her scrying mirror, its surface rippling with blue flame. The connection flared, bringing Rhys's face into view, slightly distorted, but his false calm unmistakable. Before he could speak, Lyra's voice cut through the static like a blade.
2 messages, Rhys, saying the same cursed thing. Do you think I forget that easily?
Rhys flinched. He feared her power far more than he resented her command. Resistance was suicide, and he knew it.
I only wanted to be sure you received it, Lady Lyra. The message was important.
Her eyes narrowed.
Then say it once, clearly, and stop wasting my time. And if you ever send me the same self-satisfied words twice, especially something as trite as "it is done," I will carve them into your flesh so you remember not to.
His composure cracked.
Yes, of course.
He cleared his throat.
There was an incident. An Eladrin named Keisha has been injured. The attack came from a shadow dragon and an abyssal dragon near the outskirts of Lyra'el. And...
He faltered. Lyra's tone dropped to ice.
And what, Rhys?
Radiantus overheard some Umbral elves speaking of it. They said it was good that an Eladrin was the one injured. He made a public declaration that if the Umbral elves cause more trouble, they will be banished from Lyra'el entirely.
The name had already rooted itself in her mind. Keisha. Lyra's lips curved in a sharp, pleased smile.
Keisha,
she murmured.
So the gods placed their hopes in you. How predictable.
But as the rest of the report sank in, the smile vanished.
You fool,
she hissed.
You absolute fool.
Panic whispered beneath her fury. Chaos hinted at weakness, and weakness was the one thing she had never tolerated.
Do you understand what you've allowed? I ordered influence, quiet maneuvering, not drunken pirate gossip spilling into the streets.
Rhys winced.
I didn't tell them to...
Control them,
she snapped.
You were given the gift of leadership, not a license for chaos. If the Umbral elves are cast out of Lyra'el now, every foothold I built for you will crumble, and I will personally flay you, Rhys, skin, bone, soul. Do not tempt me.
He swallowed hard.
It won't happen again.
Make sure it doesn't, and do not send me another double message unless you want it carved into your chest.
She turned as if to sever the connection, but paused. Her gaze narrowed further.
Have Keisha watched. If she begins to recover, you will tell me immediately. No delays.
The mirror went black. Lyra's fingers twitched at her side, fury straining against her composure. The name still echoed, burning hotter with each heartbeat. Keisha, an Eladrin, a rival, a reminder of everything Lyra loathed. Her existence was insulting enough, but wounded, faltering. That Lyra could savor. Her lips curved again, slower this time, sharp as obsidian.
Your magic will not outshine mine,
she whispered into the waiting dark.
If fate does not finish you, I will.
The blue flames guttered and died, leaving only silence in the tower.
The cost of accord.
Far to the south, beyond drifting sands and storm-racked skies, Shadowhaven festered at the edge of the world like a wound that refused to close. The air was thick with brine, rot, and the tang of blood on rusted iron. Kellan strode into the heart of the pirate stronghold, the damp air clinging to his skin like oil. His silver eyes swept over the chaos shanties clinging to blackened stone, banners sagging from harpoons, dragon bones lashed into crude gates. He approached a cluster of pirates hunched around a smoky brazier. One a wiry man with a broken nose rose, sneering.
You look lost, elf.
I'm looking for the one in charge,
Kellan replied evenly. The pirate barked a laugh.
I'll take you. But fair warning, Maldrak hates elves.
Kellan tilted his head, unimpressed.
And I'm not exactly fond of pirates.
Truth be told, he despised the errand and everyone who forced him to carry it. But his voice remained cool, almost amused. The pirate chuckled again, jerking his thumb down the street.
This way. Let's see who hates who more.
They wound through streets littered with broken crates, sleeping dogs, and the occasional drunken brawl. The deeper they went, the more fortified the buildings became, until they reached a looming hall built from scavenged ship hulls, stretched dragonhide, and bleached bone. The pirate slammed a fist against the heavy door.
You get one shot to speak. Don't waste it.
Inside, firelight guttered across hanging chains and mounted skulls. At the far end stood Maldrak, a broad-shouldered brute draped in sea-worn furs, his eyes sharp despite the drink on his breath.
What do you want? I hate elves.
Kellan didn't flinch.
As I told your man outside, I hate pirates. So, we're even. And believe me, if it were my choice, I would not be here. But the mysterious one commanded it.
Even as he spoke, the taste of borrowed authority soured in his mouth. He did not serve willingly, but power rarely came without compromise. At the name, Maldrak's sneer faltered. He grunted, low and wary.
Stay out.
He barked to his men.
I'll talk to this elf myself.
The door shut, sealing them in the chamber of bone and smoke. Kellan delivered the order details veiled, but enough for Maldrak to understand. The pirate lord chuckled grimly.
An alliance, then. Shadowhaven will profit, I'll agree.
He waved to the guards.
Show him around, then give him a place to rest, a private one.
That night, after being led through twisting lanes and stinking docks, Kellan settled into a bare, salt-stained chamber. Alone at last, he summoned the connection. The mysterious one's voice seeped through the shadows.
Stay put for now.
Kellan inclined his head. The link faded. He exhaled, muttering into the stale air.
Stuck in Shadowhaven, just what every elf dreams of, rotting sea air and pirate diplomacy.
He glanced toward the sealed window, waves battering the black cliffs beyond. There would be no escape until the voice allowed it. So he sat in silence, brine and smoke clinging to him, wondering not for the first time whether this was strategy or surrender.
Beneath the flame.
In the obsidian halls of Flameford, silence reigned, save for the crackle of ever-burning braziers. The mysterious one waited in a vaulted chamber lit by dragonfire. Their shadow stretched long against ancient stone. A shape moved in the doorway. Lyra entered, her cloak whispering over the floor like a blade across silk.
Report!
The mysterious one said, turning without greeting.
Rhys has made a fool of himself again.
Lyra replied coolly. An eyebrow lifted.
He sent 2 identical messages about Keisha being injured in an attack by a shadow dragon and an abyssal dragon outside Lyra'el. She's hurt, though we don't yet know the extent of the injury. Worse, his people couldn't keep quiet. Radiantus overheard their comments, and now the Umbral elves stand one step from exile.
What did you tell him?
I flayed him with words,
she said without a flicker of shame.
Threatened worse if he lets things unravel further. He's terrified now and knows they're being watched.
Good. Keep him under control. He is yours to command now.
The mysterious one's voice was iron-wrapped in velvet, unmistakable authority, almost pleasant if one did not listen too closely.
If the Umbral elves are exiled, find them a hidden place to regroup. I want them contained, not scattered.
Understood.
Yet beneath Lyra's calm answer, her thoughts were already calculating. Obedience was a currency she paid only so long as it served her.
Kellan is in Shadowhaven,
the mysterious one continued.
The pirates have joined the alliance. He will remain there and monitor them.
A faint smirk curved her lips.
I'm sure he's thrilled.
It wasn't a request. I need eyes in that den.
She inclined her head. The mysterious one turned, their gaze drifting inward toward Afor. The desert ruins of Astoria whispered of forgotten arts, and rumors of moon Seraphidians still haunting the sands had reached their ears. If true, they too could be bent to serve. They paused mid-stride.
Lyra!
She returned within moments, her expression unreadable, though her patience thinned at the edges.
The desert stronghold of Astoria,
they said.
If its ties to dark magic remain, it may yet prove valuable. You will oversee the integration.
Her eyes narrowed.
You're sending me to Afor?
Yes. Afor lies within Vacari, still scarred by Varus's wrath and veiled by the brass dragons.
Their tone was final.
You can monitor Reese from anywhere. This is not a discussion.
She opened her mouth to protest, then closed it. Power had a way of reminding her who truly held the reins. One day, that balance would change. A flick of their hand, and Lyra vanished from Flameford. She reappeared on the outskirts of Astoria, sand already biting at her boots, the air dry and unyielding. Ruined towers jutted from the dunes like jagged teeth. Heat pressed against her skin in waves.
I hate the desert.
She muttered, cloak snapping in the wind as she strode toward the city's broken gates. If this failed, they would blame her.
Veiled approval.
Far below Flameford's upper halls, the molten heart of the caverns pulsed with heat. Voraxia and Vorathos lingered in the glow, their eyes half-lidded yet watchful. The mysterious one entered, air shimmering as shadows curled tight to the stone. With a single gesture, the other dragons melted into the depths, leaving only the two sisters in the firelit chamber.
You struck her,
the veiled voice said, not a question but a command heavy as stone.
Tell me how.
Voraxia lowered her head, then raised it, violet sheen flickering across her scales.
She would not release the Pegasus. Even wounded, she clung to it as if it were her own blood. I dove. She took the strike instead. Had Radiantus and Aurelius not intervened, she would have fallen.
Vorathos rumbled, coils shifting in the heat.
Engaging them both was folly. We withdrew before their light cut deeper.
The mysterious one inclined their head, shadows rippling outward like ink in water.
You were right to retreat. That restraint has spared you for now. But there will be no boasts, no whispers. This wound must remain theirs to fear, not ours to claim.
Voraxia's silver-white eyes narrowed.
Zilron watches.
As do the others,
the voice replied, silk over steel.
Let them. They will find nothing but obedience, until I decide otherwise.
They turned as if to leave, then paused. For the first time in many ages, a smile slid across the shadowed veil, thin, cold, and almost pleased.
Keisha bleeds,
the mysterious one murmured, words curling like smoke.
How poetic. Varys fell because she slipped through that cursed ritual. And now, perhaps, fate begins to correct itself.
Voraxia and Vorathos exchanged a glance but held their silence. Wings folded tight, they lowered their heads in measured deference.
Return to Lyra'el's skies,
the figure commanded, voice once more composed.
Circle its borders. Watch, report, nothing more.
The sisters bowed and withdrew into the upper tunnels, shadows trailing them like storm clouds. Left alone, the mysterious one lingered, the wicked curve of their smile widening as firelight licked the obsidian walls. The shadows stirred, restless, hungry for the thought coiling in their mind.
If Keisha does not rise again, the sisters may yet prove themselves worthy of more. Perhaps the others will bow when I grant them reign. And if not, they too will be broken.
A soft laugh echoed through the cavern, sharp as cracks in the earth. Then the shadows folded in, and the chamber was empty once more, save for the hiss of molten rivers. The skies above Ardinia blushed with first light as Alina crossed the tranquil glade where the Pegasi dozed. Mist curled low, silvered by dawn, and dew jeweled the moss like fallen stars. A sudden snort drew her eye. A white stallion pawed the earth, coat spotless, save for a streak of crimson along his flank. Her heart lurched. Gentle hands pressed to his side, parting the shimmering hair. No wound, no swelling. The blood was not his. A glimmer alit beside her a fairy, wings like moonlit glass.
That one carried Keisha and the human boy to Lyra'el,
she whispered. Alina stilled.
Keisha!
She lifted her palm and breathed an old forest charm. Light gathered like silk, spun into a slender thread until it found Radiantus.
I found blood on the Pegasus that Keisha rode. Tell me.
It was Keisha. Shadow and Abyssal struck near the outskirts. She lives. The healers tend her and Kimras is here.
Relief loosened her shoulders. Worry settled deeper.
Thank you,
she sent, letting the tether fade. She turned from the glade in haste. Ardinia's crystalline paths sang underfoot, waterfalls laced green with silver. Keisha's laughter had once echoed here. Now she lay in a city of dragons because she had chosen to protect something smaller than herself.
She always gives too much,
Alina murmured, hand to her heart. Part of her reached for Ong in thought, but she stilled. If Kimras had come, Ong would hear soon enough. Better from a dragon's mouth than a hurried message borne on fear. She turned to the fairies who were circling anxiously.
I'm going to the Emerald Woods. There's someone I need.
The fairies darted ahead in a jeweled stream. In the deeper forest, trunks rose tall, their leaves emerald laced with gold. Birdsong braided with river song until the grove itself seemed to breathe. Her arrival rippled the clearing. Fairies looped her in bright spirals. A water nymph crowned her braid with a flower. Alina twirled once with them, laughing, then stilled.
I missed you,
she said softly.
But I need help. Where is Kalon?
By the crystal grove,
A fairy whispered solemnly.
listening to the elder trees.
Sun fractured into prisms as Alina stepped into the grove. At its heart stood Kalon, one hand against the bark of an ancient tree, eyes half closed as though hearing the forest's pulse. For a breath, memory blurred the present. Kalon at the Crystal Vale banquet, quiet under marble arches. Later, the truth of him, half fae, half human, belonging to two worlds yet resting in neither until the Emerald Woods claimed him. He turned at her tread. Surprise softened into warmth.
Alina,
he said, voice carrying quiet music.
It's good to see you.
And you.
She answered, wasting no time.
Keisha has been hurt in Lyra'el. She lives. Kimras is there. So are the Celestials. But Shadow and Abyss are moving, and I fear they'll need more than healers.
His brow furrowed.
She lives?
Yes, I spoke with Radiantus.
Her gaze met his, steady.
Valian is with her. He's begun herbal work. He'll need guidance. The dragons will aid where they can. Will you go? For Keisha. For him.
Kalon glanced to the staff leaning by the tree, a gift from fairies, nymphs, and Alina. The runes glimmered faintly, as though listening.
Then it is time I put that gift to use,
he said, quiet but sure. He lifted the staff, its light steadied.
I'll go for Keisha, for Valeon, and because you asked.
Alina's breath eased.
Thank you.
If Shadow gathers beneath Lyra'el,
Kalon said,
the light needs all its guardians.
They found Thalorian, near the Hillgrove roots, speaking softly with Verdantia, the emerald dragon. Alina's words required little more than a glance. Thalorian nodded once. Verdantia's eyes sharpened.
I will watch the fairies while you are away,
Thalorian said. Verdantia lowered her head and summoned a young emerald, sleek, swift, bright-eyed. Her tone cut with protective weight.
Carry him to Lyra'el. Avoid shadowed routes. Do not engage. Drop him at the gates and return.
Kalon swung up with practiced ease, staff across his lap. The young dragon leapt, wings opening the sky. By midday, white spires crowned the horizon. The emerald circled once, then descended to the terrace gate. Kalon dismounted, palm to scale in thanks. Verdantia's will echoed.
Return at once.
With a sharp bank, the young dragon vanished into the clouds. She would risk none of her brood against Abyss and Shadow without cause. Kalon turned toward the radiant gates of Lyra'el, toward whatever truths, trials and healings waited. The high gates of Lyra'el rose before him, arched in white and lavender, entwined like ancient branches reaching for the sky. Runes shimmered faintly across their surface, a lattice of enchantments woven through centuries of devotion. Mist drifted low along the pathway, cool against Kalon's skin, veiling the forest beyond in a dreamlike silver glow. He drew a steady breath, his keen fey senses pricking at the layered magic that thrummed like a low chord in the air. Dust clung to his cloak, the rush of his journey still in his limbs, yet purpose lent him strength. Too swiftly, he had come perhaps unwisely. Given Alina's whispered warnings whispered before his departure, a sudden pulse of light caught his eye. On a stone rise just off the path stood a dragon. Not merely any dragon, this one gleamed like a fragment of the heavens. Silver-white scales shimmered as though they reflected stars unseen, each ridge traced with light. Half-furled wings arced behind him like living banners. His eyes, luminous white as moonfire, regarded the world with timeless calm. Caelorn slowed, breath catching, his gaze lifting in wary respect. He was no stranger to dragons, but few could stand before one without feeling the weight of such ancient power. I should ask. Perhaps he knows where Keisha is, he thought, gathering his voice. He stepped forward and inclined his head.
Good day to you,
he said, tone measured, his natural lilt softened in deference.
Forgive the intrusion. I seek the Lady Keisha and a young man named Valion. Might you know where to find them?
The dragon tilted his head, luminous white eyes gleaming. His voice resonated with a melodic gravity, like distant bells tolling through mist. The sound thrummed in Caelorn's bones and along the warded gates.
You stand in the heart of Lyra'el, traveler. I know well those you seek.
Relief stirred in Caelorn's chest. He managed a grateful smile, then faltered as the truth struck him with sudden weight. The very air seemed to bend around the dragon, answering his presence.
Forgive me, but you are not simply any dragon, are you?
Caelorn's voice thinned to a whisper.
You are Aurelius.
A glimmer of amusement lit the ancient dragon's gaze.
I am.
Colour rose to Caelorn's cheeks. He bowed low, voice hushed.
Forgive my ignorance, Great One. I meant no disrespect.
Aurelius's chest rumbled softly, laughter threaded with eternity.
There is no offense where none is meant. Stand tall, Ruminora, ha ha ha.
Relief steadied Caelorn's breath. He straightened, though his pulse still raced.
You will find Lady Keisha in the inner glade,
Aurelius said.
The healers and council are gathered there. They will guide you further to young Valion. But take heed, the umbral elves sow discord. Walk with care, and with watchful eyes.
Caelorn inclined his head.
Your wisdom is well taken. My thanks, Aurelius. I shall tread carefully.
Go and like,
the dragon replied, his words a benediction that lingered in the mist like starlight. With a final bow, Caelorn turned, setting his steps along the silver-threaded path. The presence of the celestial dragon clung to him long after, a weight of grace and power at his back. The forest closed around him, ancient trunks rising like pillars, their bark gleaming faintly with Lyra'el's eternal glow. Leaves whispered overhead, scattering motes of light that drifted down like falling stars. Caelorn moved swiftly, boots silent against moss-veined stone, his senses taut. Every shift of wind, every flicker of shadow pressed against his awareness. A voice thin as a breath rose from the gloom to his right. He slowed. A second voice joined it. Cloaked in the deeper shade of the wood, he glimpsed them only in fragments. Slender forms, dark robes, eyes gleaming faintly where sunlight dared not reach. Umbral elves. He might have passed them by, melting into silence until one word rooted him in place. Keisha. At once he slipped behind a broad-barked tree, cloak drawn close as he sank into the forest hush.
Should have died. That Eladrin,
one shadow muttered.
It would have sent a clearer message. Let the citizens of Lyra'el remember who holds the power now.
Rhys won't tolerate hesitation,
the other replied, voice laced with cold satisfaction.
They'll all learn. Things are already changing.
A pause, then softer, more venomous.
I'm glad he allied with the Druki and the Mysterious One. With the three of them combined, even the dragons will bend. Or break.
Their footsteps faded, laughter trailing after them like a foul scent. Caelorn did not move for several breaths. His pulse thundered in his ears. Slowly, he stepped from the shelter of the tree, face pale in the dappled light. His fingers curled, then eased open again. The Druki, the mysterious figure, and Rhys. He did not yet see the whole shape of their alliance, but the truth was enough. Keisha was marked. By proximity, so was Valion. Urgency tightened his steps as he pressed onward. The trees parted, revealing the inner glade, a vast expanse bathed in golden light. Blossoms drifted from unseen boughs, their fragrance cool and sweet. A breeze wound through the leaves, carrying a melody faint as harp strings. At the center of the glade rose a structure of crystal and living wood, half temple, half grove, its arches spiraling upward like the ribs of some celestial being. The very ground thrummed with quiet strength, the air heavy with the pulse of ancient wards. Caelorn approached the threshold, where a healer in pale robes waited beneath the arching branches.
I seek audience with Radiantus,
Caelorn said, bowing with measured grace.
There is news I carry, and it may bear weight upon the council.
The healer inclined his head.
Radiantus will be summoned. In the meantime, enter the glade. Speak your name, your purpose, and you shall be received.
Caelorn of the Luminara, on request of Elena,
he replied, steadying his breath.
I have come to see Lady Keisha.
Crossing the threshold, ancient power folded around him like a mantle cool, unyielding, as if the land itself judged his worth. The sanctuary hummed with peace and reverence, or so its design promised. At the rear of the crystal hall, vines curled lazily along the arched beams, their leaves glowing as though they were drinking in the golden light above. A long wooden table stretched beneath them, scrolls scattered across its polished surface, neat elven script glaring up like a silent adversary. A cluster of vials and powders had once been orderly. Now they lay strewn like frost from a careless hand. At the table sat Valion. Ink smudged one cheek, his sleeves shoved high, his forearms dusted with chalk. He tapped a quill against parchment, frustration gathering in each stroke.
By the blasted moons, I'll never master these cursed elven scribbles. Might as well be reading Dragon Scratch.
A willowy healer with laughing eyes chuckled softly.
You do yourself no credit, Valion. You've come a long way in a short span. Most would have set fire to the scrolls by now.
Valion grunted, though a reluctant smile tugged at his mouth.
Aye, and I nearly did yesterday. You were there.
The great door creaked open. Caelorn entered, movements fluid as moonlight, cloak trailing lightly across the floor. His gaze swept the hall before settling on the warded space where Valion laboured. A familiar voice carried across the chamber, warm with humour.
Still fighting the elven script? You've come further than you had in Crystal Vale, my friend.
Valion jerked upright in surprise, elbow striking a vial.
Ah, curse it!
A puff of pale green powder burst across the scrolls. The nearest healer leapt back with a cry as the wards flared, humming brightly while they absorbed the reaction. A faint pop echoed like a cork loosed from a bottle. Blinking through the haze, Valion brushed green dust from his hair.
Well, that went better than last time.
From beyond the wards, Caelorn's laugh rippled like silver.
You've a gift for the dramatic, though your poor table might disagree.
He stepped closer, offering the healers a nod before softening his tone.
Elena sent me,
he said,
to see Keisha and to lend what aid I can. Whether with the celestial dragons or the healers, your training is not forgotten.
Valion wiped his hands on the cloth, his grin crooked.
Well, you've timed it well enough, though I'll warn you these dragons have sharper eyes for mistakes than any master I've ever known.
Caelorn's mouth curved into a quick, easy smile.
As do some of us.
At the glade's centre rose a structure of crystal and living wood, half temple, half grove, its arches spiralling skyward like the ribs of some celestial giant. The ground itself thrummed with quiet strength, the air heavy with the pulse of ancient wards. A healer in pale silver robes waited at the threshold, her dark hair braided with ivy that glimmered faintly in the light. She carried the calm authority of one long accustomed to mending both flesh and spirit.
Caelorn of the Luminara?
She asked softly. He inclined his head.
Aye.
Come with me. I will take you to Lady Keisha. But I must caution you, do not be alarmed by what you see.
Caelorn's gaze sharpened.
How fares she?
The healer's expression softened, pride and sorrow mingling.
She is stronger than most would be, given what she faced. The shadow and abyssal dragons left grievous wounds upon both body and spirit. Yet she did not falter. She fought not only for herself, but for the Pegasus she protected.
A faint, reverent smile curved her lips.
Word of her courage has spread through Lyra'el. Many who once doubted her place now speak her name with respect.
Kalon's jaw tightened, though his voice held steady.
She is of rare spirit. I will not stay long. She needs rest.
Good.
The healer inclined her head and gestured toward a silken-draped archway.
Beyond here. Speak softly. Her strength returns, but slowly. Rest is her greatest need.
Kalon drew a quiet breath and stepped through. The silks whispered against his shoulders as if warning him to tread with care. The hush within the chamber was almost tangible, sound itself subdued. Cool air drifted from the lattice windows, fragrant with moonflower and silver leaf scents meant to soothe and steady. At the room's heart stood a low bed, not carved but grown, vines twined with crystal that pulsed faintly with the rhythm of life. Upon it lay Keisha. Even prepared, Kalon's heart clenched. Her skin, once luminous, was pale against the glow. Bandages bound her arms and side. Bruises shadowed her cheek. Yet even in weariness, she radiated quiet strength. Her red hair, tousled but unbowed, spilled like flame across the pale linens. Beside her rested a single silver feather, undoubtedly from the Pegasus she had shielded. Kalon steadied himself and approached.
Keisha,
he murmured, voice warm with concern.
It is Kalon. May I sit with you a moment?
Her eyes fluttered open. Pale green found him, weary yet unbroken. A faint smile curved her lips.
Kalon, you came.
He drew a chair closer, lowering himself into it with gentle ease.
Alina sent me, to see you, and to aid where I may, whether with the healers or the celestial dragons.
Her fingers shifted weakly on the coverlet.
They told me of the shadow dragons and the others.
Her gaze darkened.
I could not let them take her.
And in doing so,
Kalon said quietly,
you earned more than victory. You've won the respect of this realm. Already your courage is spoken of.
A breath escaped her fragile half-pride, half-exhaustion.
I only did what was right.
That,
Kalon replied with a faint, sorrow-tinged smile,
is why it matters most.
He rested his hand on the edge of the bed, close enough for her to feel his steadiness.
Rest now. You have done more than enough. The dragons watch over you, and I will remain. However, I may serve.
Her eyes glistened with gratitude.
Thank you, Kalon.
From the doorway came the healer's gentle call.
It is time to let her rest.
Kalon rose, bowing his head.
I will return when it is well to do so. Until then, may the stars guard you.
The silks whispered closed behind him. His face remained composed, but his eyes were shadowed with thought. A figure leaned against a carved column, arms crossed, one brow arched.
She was glad to see you,
Valion said quietly, straightening. His usual lilt lingered, but concern edged his voice.
She's tougher than any of us gave her credit for.
Kalon allowed a small smile.
She is indeed, but her road ahead will not be easy.
Valion studied him, then narrowed his eyes.
You've got that look.
Kalon lifted a brow.
What look?
The look you wear when danger stirs, when you've overheard something.
Before Kalon could reply, a slender young healer approached, bowing.
Master Kalon, Radiantus is ready to receive you. If you would come now, he awaits in the upper chamber.
Kalon inclined his head.
Of course.
He cast a meaningful glance at Valion.
Come, it may be wise for you to hear this as well.
Surprise flickered across Valion's face, but curiosity quickly overtook it.
Lead on, then.
Together they followed the healer along ascending stone paths and winding corridors, lit by veins of crystal. With every step, the air grew cooler, heavier with ancient power, as though judgment itself gathered around them. At last, they entered a vaulted chamber where starlight poured through a wide circular opening above, scattering brilliance across the crystalline walls. At the chamber's heart, Radiantus awaited his platinum coils resting in regal repose, his eyes glowing with the clarity of dawn. His voice rolled like resonant chimes through the vast space.
Kalon, you are welcome here.
Both Kalon and Valion bowed deeply.
Radiantus,
Kalon said, his tone grave.
I bring tidings that cannot wait. Upon my arrival in Lyra'el, I overheard 2 umbral elves speaking in the outer glades.
The dragon's silver gaze sharpened, light rippling across his scales.
Tell me what you heard.
Kalon's voice steadied, each word etched with memory.
They spoke of Lady Keisha saying she should have died, as a warning to the citizens. They claimed Rhys seeks to assert new power here, that an alliance is already in motion, with the Druki, and with a third figure they named only as the mysterious one, already moving the pieces.
A rumble like distant thunder stirred in Radiantus's chest. His gaze narrowed, light flashing cold across the chamber.
This alliance is troubling, and the identity of this mysterious one, more troubling still.
Valion shifted uneasily.
They sounded confident, too confident, if they've reached this deep...
Indeed,
Radiantus said, his voice low and grave.
Their hand moves swiftly. We must move swifter still.
He turned his full gaze upon Caelorn, each word carrying the weight of command.
Your report comes in time. Remain close to the glade. Your presence may be required again soon. I will speak with the council and with the noble dragons. Lyra'el will not fall to shadow.
Caelorn bowed low.
I stand ready to serve, as does the rest of Vacari, should you call.
Valion managed a crooked grin, though his eyes held earnest fire.
And I'll stand ready to do whatever it is I'm good at.
A flicker of warmth touched Radiantus's ageless gaze.
Even the smallest flame holds great power, Valion, and we will need every spark.
As they descended the corridors once more, silence pressed heavier than before.
He's not playing games anymore,
Valion murmured, falling in step beside Caelorn.
You could feel it in the air.
Caelorn's face remained solemn.
Nor should he. The line has been crossed. Soon choice will be forced upon them.
They stepped into the lower glade, footsteps soft on crystal paths, though the storm gathering above weighed on them both. At the heart of Lyra'el, a resonant tone rang out across the city. It was not a bell nor a horn, but a deep pulse that throbbed through wood and stone. Elves halted where they stood, turning toward the circle at the roots of the great tree. For such a call could mean only one thing. One of the ancients would speak. By the time Radiantus descended, the circle was already ringed with hushed anticipation. Cloaked umbral elves stood among them, drawing wary stares yet refusing to bow. Radiantus alighted with measured grace. His colossal form gleamed beneath shafts of silver light, wings folding with deliberate care. His eyes burned like crystalline fire. When he spoke, his voice rippled through the glade like rolling thunder, calm but implacable.
Hear me now. This is your final warning.
The crowd stilled.
Once before I said, any act of aggression, any attempt to undermine the balance of this realm, will not be tolerated.
His gaze swept across the umbral elves. Some held his eyes in defiance. Others shifted under their weight.
And now I hear whispers and threats against Lyra'el. Whispers of alliances forged in shadow. Know this. Such treachery will not take root here.
The ground trembled faintly beneath his coils, as if the great tree itself resonated with his vow.
This is the last time I will speak such words. The next transgression will bring no counsel, no parley. You will be removed, banished from Lyra'el, never to return.
Silver fire flared in his gaze, sealing the decree with the weight of ages.
Choose well. There will be no second chance.
A long silence held the glade. Then Radiantus unfurled his wings and rose into the heavens, his ascent stirring a storm of golden light among the branches. Only when the radiance faded did the crowd begin to murmur again. And though voices fell low, no one mistook the truth. From this moment forward, the umbral elves walked a razor's edge. In the shadows beyond the circle, Rhys lingered beneath a twisted arch of stone, arms folded, eyes narrowed. He had heard every word of Radiantus's warning, sharp and final. A long breath slipped between his teeth, low and bitter.
Damn it. Lyra will be furious, and she won't be wrong.
She would not take kindly to this turn, nor forgive that events were sliding beyond the balance he had worked to weave. But the path was already set. He turned sharply and vanished into a hidden passage beneath the roots of the glade. The air grew damp and close, veins of black stone and silver moss winding through the tunnels. At their end lay the umbral elves' private hall, long abandoned by the elves of light, its twisted columns and vaulted roots now wholly claimed by shadow. The chamber was stirring. Low voices fell silent as Rhys entered. He wasted no words. His tone was clipped, resolute.
It is time. Some of you will leave at once. Find Lyra. She is an A4. Tell her what has happened. Ask her to secure a place for our people beyond Lyra'el. We will not wait to be driven out. We will choose where we stand.
The chosen swiftest and most loyal nodded, cloaks drawn close, blades hidden. One by one they slipped into the dark. Rhys's gaze followed until the chamber emptied, his silver eyes cold and unreadable. Then he turned to the others.
The rest of you, tread carefully. Every step from this moment is watched. One mistake, and it is over. Do you understand?
A low chorus of assent rose, some voices defiant, others heavy with resignation. Without another word, Rhys departed, striding through twisting corridors until he reached the solitude of his chamber. A single crystal burned faintly on the desk, casting shifting light across the stone walls. He seated himself, fingers steepled, thoughts coiling like shadows. Then, with deliberate precision, he drew parchment close. In sharp, flowing script he wrote,
Lyra, we must speak, urgently. The time we feared has come.
He sealed the message, pressed it into the hand of a waiting runner, and sent it into the night. Only then did he sink back into his chair, shadows curling around him like smoke, his mind already moving pieces across the darkening board.
Professional audiobooks in a click.
Spoken.